Welcome to my channel. Today is a buying guide on one of the most hyped niche brands. I think it's one of the first that got the title of hyped brands, and it is Parfums de Marly. Today I am discussing all the fragrances currently available from the feminine collection from Parfums de Marly and tell you if they are worth it or not. Going through notes, longevity, sillage, comparison, everything about these fragrances. So if you are a fan of Parfums de Marly or you are looking for your next fragrance from this house, then please keep on watching. But before starting, I wanted to apologize if you are hearing any noise. It's raining, there is thunder. It's kind of a very bad weather currently here. So sorry for that. And now let's start with the buying guide, and starting with the star of the show, the fragrance that made the brand practically, Delina. Starting with the original Delina, the one that put on the market the combination of lychee and rose. And since then, there are so many fragrances with the same combination, with some different tweaks here and there, in the designer world and in the niche world. And it seems like a combination that it's here to stay. We still have new releases with these kind of notes. It's very plush, pink, peony, rose. There is this lychee note. There is also a musky base, a little bit of like small hint of spice, specifically nutmeg. And what makes this one so particular, so unique, is the added rhubarb note. It's an extremely feminine fragrance, smells like the bottle. And if you are new to niche, the most similar fragrance to this one in the designer world, or a dupe of it, I would say, is Very Good Girl from Carolina Herrera. And this is the star, the ex-cheerleader, the life of the party, if you will. The most loud, the most popular among its sisters, Delina La Rosee and Delina Exclusif, with this bright, fruity touch. It has a very outgoing, fun aspect to it. However, I have to say, it is a little bit on the synthetic side. The lychee here is quite synthetic. Now, before anyone comes for me in the comments and says, yeah, lychee by definition is synthetic. Yeah, I know. But there is synthetic and synthetic. There are many ways you can interpret, you can represent the note of lychee. This just doesn't smell like a natural lychee. This is what I'm saying. And it has great performance. It has a strong projection and is very long lasting. And since this fragrance was so hyped and had such a great success, I feel like even now people are still talking about Delina. They released two flankers. The first one is Delina Exclusif, which is like the big sister, the most sophisticated, calm, intellectual sister. It has the same DNA, so you are getting this very strong rose smell. You are getting this pink feeling of Delina, but it's a little bit more darker. It's more woody. It does have the note of oud, but you really can't smell oud here. It just gives some depth to Delina Exclusif. And compared to Delina in the dry down, it's much more smoother. It's less synthetic, less sharp, because there is no rhubarb here, but not in the beginning. In the beginning, it's a little bit harsh, and it lacks the brightness, the freshness that is in Delina, but they are quite similar. I would say it's a more elegant take on Delina. The second flanker is Delina La Rosee, which is my favorite one. This is like the younger sister. She is innocent, she's romantic, she always wears dresses. I picture someone who is wearing this fragrance in a sunny dress. Very quiet but not shy kind of a person. It's very beautiful. It's brighter, more fresher than Delina. There is no sharp edge here. It's a very smooth and also light experience compared to the original one. You still again have the heart of Delina, so this rose scent, this peony, but it's mixed with some watery notes. It's more musky, and there is again no rhubarb, no sharpness, and it is also mixed with a pear note. So it's kind of less synthetic. It doesn't have the sharpness that is in Delina from the lychee note and also the rhubarb, which I appreciate, and this is why this is my absolute favorite one. Such a gorgeous, feminine, easygoing spring in a bottle fragrance. However, when it comes to longevity and sillage, this is more tamed down. This has a moderate longevity and sillage. It is not the powerhouse that is Delina, but still, for the scent profile, I would say it has very good performance. Usually with these scent profiles, you have like still, yeah, moderate longevity, but on the weaker side when we speak about moderate longevity and sillage. While this one stays on my skin for a solid 7 hours, no problem with moderate sillage, as I said. Tell me in the comments down below, are you team Delina, Delina exclusif, or Delina la rosee? If you are a fan of the DNA, of course. As I said, my personal favorite is Delina la rosee. Actually, I don't like Delina, to be completely honest. I never got the hype, but I can see it as a trendsetter, as a fragrance that is mass pleasing, that is a favorite for so many people. Now let's get to another fragrance that really got a lot of hype. The majority of Parfums de Marly fragrances get a lot of hype, and I'm talking about Valaya. This is an extremely fresh orange blossom fragrance. Very invigorating. This is all about the clean girl aesthetic. Again, smells like the bottle. It's extremely feminine, clean, compliment magnet, like all Parfums de Marly fragrances. You can guarantee compliments with this brand in general because the majority of the fragrances are quite mass pleasing. This is not an exception. It's a beautiful scent, very similar to Fleur Narcotique from Ex Nihilo. It's a very bright white floral fragrance with a little bit of fruitiness. Here it comes from peaches and a lot of synthetic notes. Here you have ambroxan and aldehydes, and I know these notes can be quite scary. For me personally, I am not getting so much the aldehyde. It just gives this clean smell to the fragrance, while the ambroxan you can definitely get. And I have to be completely honest, it does smell quite synthetic, but it's so beautifully done to the point that even some people who don't like synthetic fragrances really appreciate it. And I have to be completely honest, I was never a fan of this fragrance, but I don't know why I started to use my decant non-stop after I got it during the summer because it was so bright and fresh. It has this invigorating boost of energy to it that I needed, and I got so many compliments wearing this one, you can't even imagine. Now I have a full comparison video between Valaya and Valaya exclusif. I will leave it linked down below. Has extremely good performance, so it's kind of the perfect summer fragrance for me. Very beautiful scent, and it had a great success, and this is why they came out with a flanker, Valaya exclusif. Now I have a full comparison video between the original one and this one. You can check it in the description down below. Valaya exclusif is more powdery. It's more almost like a winter take on the DNA of Valaya. It has a little bit of a nuttiness in it because there is almond. It's softer, more all year appropriate. So although I am saying it's kind of almost a winter take on the DNA of Valaya, it's still a fragrance that you can wear all year round because of this powderiness, because of a little bit of the toned down sharpness, or like this burst of energies that I was talking about when I was describing Valaya. It's not here, and it's very beautiful. Again, the star of the show is the orange blossom, but it's definitely, I wouldn't say a gourmand take, I would say a powdery, woody take on orange blossom. Very beautiful fragrance. I will also leave in the description down below my comparison between Valaya, Fleur Narcotique, and the Middle Eastern fragrance Mystic Bouquet, if you are curious. I hope the sound in this video will not be awful. I just don't want to clip the mic on this dress because it's full leather and I am afraid to ruin it. So I'm so sorry if there is anything with the sound in this video. Now let's get to another orange blossom fragrance, but this one is very different. This is Oriana, and it's a gourmand take on orange blossom. So it's floral, it's sweet, it's still a little bit musky, it's fruity. There is notes of marshmallow, whipped cream, raspberry. But although all of these notes, it's not overly sweet, it's not cloying in any way. Think of it as a toned, softer version of Love Don't Be Shy from Kilian. Not that they are completely similar. Actually, I have again a comparison video between the two and Sam Gold. Check the description down below. It has the fluffiness of marshmallow. It's slightly creamy, but not totally. A lot of people really get the whipped cream here. I don't get it very much. It's mostly the coating of a marshmallow. So think about the smell when you open a bag of marshmallow, like this powder. This is how this fragrance smells mixed with the orange blossom. And the raspberry is not very predominant. It's quite in the background. And it has a clean, musky base. Again, extremely feminine, girly, spring, happy fragrance. But doesn't have the best longevity. It has moderate longevity and sillage. Does not last very, very long. So it almost has the same experience as Delina La Rosee when it comes to performance. Very, very, again, popular scent profile. This time it wasn't Parfums de Marly that set the trend, but Kilian. But I really enjoyed their take on the gourmand orange blossom trend. Very, very beautiful scent. Now let's go to yet another orange blossom fragrance, and it is Safanad. Now this is totally different, but it's more of a traditional, almost, I want to say old-fashioned, but it's not an old-fashioned fragrance. Like, think about the fragrances that were released like Jean Paul Gaultier Classique, these fragrances. This has the same vibe. So you have orange blossom, you have a little bit of iris. It's creamy because there is some ylang ylang in it without the banana facet. It's ambery. It's also slightly sweet. There is some vanilla here. Very, very elegant fragrance. This is the most, I would say, elegant, sophisticated fragrance for a lady from this brand. Very, very beautiful and quite different to the rest. Like, you can see that these were the fragrances, if I'm not mistaken, that were released before the hyped ones. It's definitely a different vibe. It has also a beautiful sandalwood in the base, so it's a little bit woody, quite sophisticated, quite complex, and as I said, a lady-like, elegant orange blossom fragrance. When it comes to longevity, has very good performance. I would say it's between moderate longevity and sillage. Like, I can't say that this is, or maybe I would say it's more long-lasting than projection. This is, I would say, the best that I can describe the performance. So it does last long, but it's not like a screamer. So you'll have a nice scent bubble, but it's not extremely projecting, which I associate also with this scent profile as an elegant, ladylike scent. Another orange blossom fragrance, but here it's mixed with iris, is Athalia. Again, very elegant, chic fragrance, and not what you would expect from Parfums de Marly, especially after like the hype it got. It's a very clean, easygoing iris and orange blossom, so very clean girl aesthetic, very chic. Think Infusion d'Iris from Prada. Like this fragrance, but less iris and more orange blossom. This is how this fragrance smells. Very, very elegant, easygoing, non-offensive, clean, just beautiful. I used to really dislike this fragrance, but mostly because I used to hate orange blossom, and also I am not a fan of iris. So the combination of these two were for me too much. Now that I appreciate orange blossom, I actually really like it, and the iris here is not offensive. It doesn't have this earthy tones as iris has. So this is why I am comparing it to Infusion d'Iris. It's just this very clean iris, very beautifully done here. And it's just not what you would expect from Parfums de Marly. So I think also this one and Safanad belong to the collection before the hype, before Delina. Since Delina, they are more focusing on releasing, I wouldn't say the same DNA, but more of mass-pleasing scents, while these will not belong to mass-pleasing scents. These are a little bit more sophisticated, more for the elegant lady type. Performance on this fragrance is quite decent. It's not, again, an extremely long-lasting or projecting fragrance, which you can expect. In order to create this DNA with a very strong sillage, you will definitely ruin it totally. It has enough of sillage for people around you to smell it. Has decent performance, I would say, from moderate to strong. So it's a very underrated gem from Parfums de Marly, but it's not for someone who loves Delina and wants something that will give you the same effect that Delina has. This is not it. Now let's get to more of a tropical fragrance, and I actually used to own this one, Cassili. I really enjoy it. I just kept the decant and decluttered the full bottle because it's an extremely sweet frangipani. Very feminine again. Like when it comes to the feminine collection from Parfums de Marly, it's really feminine. It's really directed to the feminine audience. There is nothing unisex about them. While when it comes to the masculine collection, there are some fragrances that definitely women can wear. But the feminine collection is 100% feminine. Nothing unisex about them. This is frangipani. It is vanilla. It has a beautiful plum note, so it's a little bit fruity. Extremely beautiful scent. Very, very beautiful scent. But you have to like sweet and fruity fragrances, but because the frangipani here is more on the sweet and fruity side. Very beautiful, very long lasting. Like this fragrance is just one of my favorite tropical fragrances, I have to say. One of also my favorite frangipani fragrances. So I highly, highly recommend it. Again, quite underrated. Like it's not that everyone's talking about Delina, Valaya, Oriana, but are ignoring Cassili, which definitely deserves more hype in my opinion. And I feel like Cassili is the best segue for the next one that is more fruity than Cassili. This is Meliora. Here you have blackcurrant, you have cassis, you have a little bit of floral notes like lily of the valley, rose, but it is mostly a very fruity blackcurrant fragrance with a lot of cassis. So definitely, if you are someone who smells cat piss in cassis, then avoid this fragrance. It will not be for you, but I find it absolutely stunning. Very unique, very similar to a fragrance from Lali called Amethyst. I have actually a comparison video which I will link down below, but this is much more long lasting and much projecting, and it is also more on the cassis side in my opinion. Not a surprise, it's the same perfumer who did this one, did also Lalique Amethyst. Definitely one of my favorites from the brand. Very feminine again, very also spring and summer like, because it has this cassis note that has this sharpness, so it gives you this burst. And although it's fruity, it's not sweet, so just an amazing scent, and I would highly recommend it. When it comes to performance, on me it was quite strong. I feel like people always said that this is more on a moderate side. On me it was quite a strong fragrance with a presence to it. Now I'm not an oversprayer, so I imagine if I oversprayed, I will leave a nice scent trail that people definitely smell. So it checks all the boxes: uniqueness, performance, scent profile, so definitely ones that I would check from the brand. Last fragrance from the brand, and the only one that I just can't recommend. I'm so sorry for anyone who loves this fragrance. There's definitely someone who enjoys this fragrance, but I just can't feel like recommending it. This is Palatine, and it is a sweet violet with a musky base. So the star of the show is this violet that is very predominant, has a little bit of a fruitiness because of the pear note, it's clean, it's kind of on the clean side because of the musk. But I have to say, I just can't stand this fragrance at all. And not a surprise that this one didn't get a lot of hype like the rest of Parfums de Marly fragrances. It's definitely a good addition to the brand. So a new scent profile. It's not an orange blossom. Like I feel like the majority of the fragrances in the feminine side are either rose or orange blossom. So a plus is for that. It's unique, I would say, in the sense that it's not even a scent profile that is very, I wouldn't say modern, but very youthful. And I don't know, I just don't like it. I feel like it's maybe a little bit of the lavender that is here. I have no idea, but this fragrance just is too piercing. I just can't recommend it. I am so sorry. So this is the only one that I would not recommend from the brand. Now, there were two fragrances in Parfums de Marly's collection that were discontinued, Sudbury and Darcy. Not a surprise that they discontinued Sudbury. Again, that was the only one before Palatine that I would not recommend. It was a tuberose fragrance, but oh my god, very old-fashioned with all the tuberose fragrances on the market. That one was like a big no. And majority of people didn't like it, so it was not a surprise that it was discontinued. While Darcy, I have to say, I quite of enjoy it. It was in the same vibe, like in the sense that it is a very easygoing fragrance like Athalia. But it didn't do well, people didn't enjoy it, it didn't stand out, let's say. And these were all the fragrances that are currently available in the feminine collection from Parfums de Marly. Now, there are some fragrances in the masculine collection that I would consider definitely unisex. I will mention them quickly. So we have Voisin, which I actually own. This is my absolute favorite from Parfums de Marly. If I take the brand in general, this is my absolute favorite fragrance. It's a spicy honey, vanilla, a cinnamon bomb. If you love cinnamon, that fragrance is the best, and it is totally unisex, even leaning slightly masculine. We have also Altair, which has elemi and vanilla. That one is quite hyped. I personally am not a fan of it. The elemi is too much. Like I expected a vanilla fragrance. I got more elemi than anything else. I'm not a fan of that note. So personally, I was not a fan. But I know that a lot of people really enjoyed that fragrance. We have Herod, a tobacco fragrance. It is, I would say, it has some sweetness, but honestly, when it comes to tobacco fragrances, that like sweet tobacco fragrances, this is not the most feminine and not my favorite one. But it's definitely one of the, I would say, I would put it as one of the top tobacco fragrances in general. But it's just a little bit too masculine, I would say. Now, I know that a lot of people talk also about Carlisle and Habdan as a fragrance that women can wear. I feel like these two are definitely masculine. So I wouldn't consider them as a fragrance that is unisex at all. Carlisle is actually one of the best masculine fragrances, one of my favorite masculine fragrances of all time. It's beautiful, and I have a comparison video actually between Carlisle and from Initio Blessed Baraka. These two fragrances have like the same vibe, let's say. So I have a comparison video. If you are curious, I will leave it linked down below. Although the hype of Parfums de Marly feels like it's more on their feminine releases, there are also a lot of masculine fragrances that are very hyped from the brand. But when I take the two objectively, I find like they really shine in their masculine collection. Like Leighton Exclusive, like a lot of beautiful fragrances that I would put in the top of my absolute favorite masculine fragrances of all time. So that was it. That was my buying guide on Parfums de Marly, or my updated buying guide on Parfums de Marly. I did one 3 or 4 years ago at the beginning of my channel. Tell me in the comments down below, what is your favorite Parfums de Marly? What do you think about the brand in general? I feel like Parfums de Marly is a great niche house to begin. When you are in the beginning of your fragrance journey and you are still new to niche fragrances, Parfums de Marly is definitely the brand to go, because their fragrances are not challenging at all, and also are more on the long lasting side when it comes to fragrances. So for those who performance is really a big issue, it's a great value for your money. Most of their fragrances are very mass pleasing, so compliment magnets, so a great beginner friendly niche house. For me personally, I take issues a little bit with the overuse of syntheticness in their fragrances, but I can see why people really love this brand. I still love some fragrances even if they are synthetic. I just don't like the most hyped one like Delina. I feel like I'm the minority as someone who doesn't like Delina, but I do enjoy Delina La Rosee, however. So looking forward to see your opinions and your favorites in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, and if you did, please give me a thumb up and consider subscribing to my channel. I do a buying guide every month. So I have a lot of buying guides on all the brands you can imagine. I will leave the playlist in the description, so if you enjoyed this one, you can binge watch the rest. Thanks a lot for watching and see you next time. Ciao.